Hi guys, how are you all doing? I hope you're doing well and keeping safe. As for me, I'm doing well and keeping safe. Get ready with me as I do a TMI rant, as I go on a TMI rant. I just had some things on my mind as I was starting to do my makeup. It just came to mind as I was doing my eyebrows, and I decided to just sit down and do a little TMI rant about friendships, because I have been through I have been through a fair share of good and bad friendships, being a victim and a villain. I'm not doing a story time. I'm just giving several experiences of, having a big group of friends and having a small group of friends where it is where I am at right now. So I don't even know the best place to start giving this TMI. Well, it's a list of things on my mind, so I'm just going to start anywhere. When I was of sound mind, by saying when I was of sound mind, I mean like when I kind of grew up. I feel like when somebody's 17, 18, 19, 20, they're not like grown, they're just kind of grown. So when I was 17, 18, let's just say around the time I finished high school, I was a people's person. I had like a big group of friends. I loved hanging out with a lot of people. I loved hanging out with so many friends. I think at the time, if I can remember correctly, I had even up to around 15 friends. Everybody I met was my friend. I didn't even care to get to know anyone. I was just rushing to, I don't know. I've always been a very bubbly person. But then the me of that time was just a people's person too much. And I just loved going to places with a group of people and being around many people. And to me, they were my friends. I don't know if I was their friend, but to me, they were all my friend. They were all my friends, excuse me. So, as I continued to grow up and as I continued to experience life, this is, let's say, immediately after high school, as I continued to grow up and experience life, then things kept happening. And, friends go shedding off along the way. You lose some, you gain some, lose some, gain some. But then I'm the type of person that doesn't know how to let go, which I didn't know how to let go. Not that that's how I am right now, but I didn't know how to let go, and I used to struggle a lot with losing friends. And it's not just why can't I talk in today's vlog? It's not just about the friends, it's about even relationships, people in my life. I used to struggle a lot with letting go. So I generally had a lot of people, and it didn't matter how toxic a situation would be, whether I'm the one being toxic or I'm receiving the toxicity, I'd struggle so much letting go. So I'd always cling on and hang on and just hope for, it's just a small misunderstanding. We're going to figure this out, and that type of stuff. Anyway, circumstances and situations force you to literally let go of people. And even though you try to struggle so much to, stay around some people and not let go, situations will make you learn how to let go of people. I'm talking about this because I watched a certain vlog, and it was talking about learning how to give people their flowers. Like, not waiting until something tragic actually happens to someone so that you start saying, oh, I used to know that person, or things of that sort. I'm having a hard time shooting this vlog because I feel like it's TMI. Then I feel like it's a bit too vulnerable. It's not even about vulnerability. I just feel like it's too immaculate of me, not the Mutheu part. I feel like Mutheu is the G. Immaculate is the softy. Anyway, I haven't had that many best friends. I have had, I think, 2 that I acknowledge. I've had 2 best friends that I acknowledge. I don't know if I have ever been someone's best friend, and I'm not aware, because sometimes you see, then you can be in a relationship and you're calling someone your boyfriend and they've never asked you to be their girlfriend, and you just assume this is my boyfriend. So According to me, I mean, I've only had two best friends. If you have been my best friend and I don't acknowledge you have been, well, I think you just took the relationship too far and you didn't bother to ask. Anyway, I'm saying that because this is a real life experience. I think I'm ever going to do a story time about that. Anyway, I have had two best friends that I acknowledge. We were actually in a best friendship situation with them. Notice that I'm saying, wow, I don't have a best friend right now. I don't know if I am the victim or if I am the villain. The opposite of victim ni villain. Kama mimi ndio mwenye makosa, ama mimi ndio mwenye kukosewa. Kama mimi ndio nilifanya the cutting off, or I'm the one who was cut off. I don't know. But anyway, in this vlog, I want to talk about friendship struggles. And these are struggles I actually really face so much. I don't know why I'm putting that out there and on here, but I was just thinking about it as I was starting to do my makeup, and I decided, you know what, let me just go on this little TMI rant. Anyway, growing up, I didn't really struggle with friendships and keeping friendships and, you know, being open and talking about my problems with friends and my achievements with friends. Actually, if anything, in my group of friends, especially when I was 17, 18, 19, a teenager, I was the oversharer. Like something small, if there's something small bothering me, I'll be the one calling my friends, hey, can you imagine? If there's something good that has happened to me, I will still be on the top of that list. Why? Guess what? You know, that type of stuff. But then life happens and it teaches you how to just learn how to just shut up and just not go telling everybody your business, because monitoring spirit, let me tell you, monitoring spirit. Anyway, I had a very close friend, very, very, very close friend growing up, and we kind of fell out. And then when we fell out, story for another day. That will need like a 50-part story time, like one that I was just watching on TikTok. But anyway, we fell out along the way somewhere in high school, and in high school I met another girl that we were kind of close. She was not my best friend, but we were really close. I don't know if I was her best friend. So our friendship dragged along so far along. I even forgot that I'm doing makeup. Our friendship dragged along so far along that even after high school, we continued to become friends. I had a best friend growing up until I was in high school. But then in high school, we fell apart. But we were still kids. We mainly fell apart because, you know, distance. We had gone to different schools, you know. So now I had a new close friend. We were still keeping in touch with my best friend, but, you know, out of sight, out of mind, I guess. But now the new friend, we were pretty close. We used to hang out a lot. Plus, we were in the same school. So that was definitely a plus. I used to get in touch with the chick that was my best friend growing up. I think I'm just going to give these people names. Let's call the high school friend Ruth. Let's call her Ruth. And then let's call the best friend, the growing up best friend, let's call her Miriam. Miriam? Why Miriam? But anyway, let's call her Miriam. So anyway, I used to keep in touch with Miriam as often as I could, but, well, you know, not so much. And again, like I said, out of sight, out of mind. So Ruth and I grew pretty close. Even after high school, we were still really good friends. I even feel like our friendship became tighter after high school. And, you know, we'd go to parties together, you know, we'd go to places together. It even got to a work thing, like if she got an opportunity somewhere and they needed an extra person, she'd refer me and I'd do the same thing. So, you know, that went on for a while until one time, I think it was the following year after high school, I got a job somewhere near her home. So it was very cheap for me to be commuting from her home to my workplace and then go back to my place later, if that makes sense. It was somewhere I used to work at night. I was a hostess in a club in Westlands. So her place was closer. That is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, we used to hang out a lot because if I'm working, I used to work only 3 days. It was such a good job. I used to work only 3 days a week. So if I'm working the 3 days, we'll hang out the entire time at her place. And then I'll go back to mines for the days that I'm not working, would sometimes go to my place with her because she was still living with her guardians. So when I'm not working, we'll hang out at my place because, there's more freedom being at my place where there aren't any parents. That went on until life happened and I was no longer working. I'm sure I'll do a story time about that one time. And, life happened and the job was over and I had to restructure. I had to go back to the drawing board. Anyway, this is where now friendship experiences, now the story time versus experiences comes in. So I remember for some time I had to go back to the drawing board. And by going back to the drawing board, I mean I had to go back home and it's almost as if I'm coming to start, not even almost as if I had to come back to Nairobi and start life afresh. It was so hard for me. It was frustrating. It was one of the most difficult and challenging things I have had to go through in my life. So fast forward to going home and that phase, during that period of time, so much had happened. So much had happened. Anyway, fast forward, I come back to Nairobi. Now, this is where my friendship anxiety comes in. By this time, we haven't been in touch with Miriam in a very long time. Now, Ruth is my closest friend at the time. So Ruth used to hang out with her cousin so many times, so many times. So most of the times I'm hanging out with Ruth, I'd be hanging out with her cousin too. Anyway, since Ruth was living with her guardians and she also felt like it was time for her to move out, and at the time I had relocated and now wanted to come back to Nairobi. So we were in touch with Ruth and then she was like, hey, I've been thinking, what if we get a house together? It will be cheaper for us since, we are all starting life afresh. And I was like, okay, rule number one, please don't live with your friends. Guy. Anyway, I was like, it's okay. We can get a place together and we can start life together. So that is what we did. I'd often come to Nairobi and would house hunt together. When I can, she will house hunt by herself. And then we had a friend who was in the area of the place we were trying to live in or at. So the last day of house hunting, because we needed to get a house before the end of that month in order for us to start living together. So anyway, we called the friend, let's call this friend, though she's not very relevant in this story, so let me not even give her a name. So we called her and told her that we were going to be around if she could help us house hunt. And she was down for it because she wasn't doing much on that day. So she helped us house hunt. We got a house. We paid rent and deposit. I even remember after paying for that house, I was left with nothing. I had to ransack my auntie's purse. I did not steal. I just ransacked the purse and came up. She had like coins of 2,000 bob because I needed money now for a pickup to transport my things now to their house. Well, it was really bad, tough times. Anyway, I'm gonna do a story time about that one day, just one day, when I feel like I'm confident enough to put out my business on here. Anyway, we moved in together. Now mark this, when we moved in together, I was living on my own before all this. Life just happened. So when we were now moving in together, I didn't want to bring anything from my past to this new house. So I decided I was only gonna bring my meko. Meko inaitwaje yaki? Meko, the one kastant kabane, that one. Meko, mattress, my clothes. We even bought utensils from scratch. So what we did, we were like, if it's going to cost 1,000 bob to get like a full set of plates, I told her 500 bob, she gives 500 bob, then we go and buy the things. So that is what we did. Some of the things we shared 50-50, other things I contributed more, she contributed more, but at the end of the day, it was a 50-50 household. I remember the first time we cooked in that house, we actually ate Indomie because we didn't have money. And we were cool, I'd say. We were like, okay, my relationship with Ruth at the time was, it was okay. So we went on living together. Everything was fine. I was jobless. I didn't have a job. But I didn't care. I just wanted to get back to Nairobi, get back on my feet and, figure something out. So I'd spend most of the times in the house crying. It was, tough times. Anyway, fast forward to when Ruth got a job. So what happened? One day, am I sure I want to put that out here? Let's just skip that part. She got a job. So when she got the job, she was working as an intern for a month or two. I don't remember. It's so many years ago. She was working as an intern for some time. So she worked as an intern, and by the time she was finishing the internship, I think she was up for promotion or something. I don't remember how that story goes. So she told me that it was time for everybody to live by themselves. Like, it's time for everybody to be by. I don't have a problem with that, but at the back of my mind, I was so heartbroken. And this is the problem. Like I said, starting this vlog, back in the days, back in the years, at the time I think I was 20 or 19. I don't even remember how old I was. I had such a big problem letting go of friendships, or letting go of anybody for that matter. Like, I'd feel like my world is crashing down, letting go of any sort of relationship or situation that I am in with anybody. Like, can you just stay in my life? Why are you leaving? And it's such a bad struggle. Like, if there's anybody going through that, because I had to work on myself for so long in order for me to be okay letting go of people. And now I think I overdid the working on myself, because I was an extremist of not being able to let go of people. Now, right now, I am an extremist of being able to let go of people at the snap of my finger. As in, at the slightest inconvenience, then I am just ready to be like, bye, I can't. But then I used to feel like, how are you just letting go of me? How am I going to survive with you? I don't know. If you get it, you get it. So at the time, I was feeling like, how am I going to survive by myself? Why is she just telling me? Because it was a week to the month's end. Like, let's say, like this week, then February is ending next week. So this week, nikuja nikuambie, and we live together, you're my roommate. Hey, I think next week, I think at the end of the month, she didn't say next week, I think at the end of the month, it's either you leave this house or I leave it for you. I'm going to move out. At the time, haujajipanga na rent, like the full amount of rent, haujajipanga kuhama, yani it's just like a bomb dropped on you. And I felt so bad, I felt so heartbroken. But thank God at the time I already had a job. It was my first month on the job. So the salary I was getting, I don't know, at the time I was getting like 25k or 20k, I don't remember, somewhere in the lines of 20, 25, I think so. It's a long time ago. Anyway, so she told me that, at the back of my mind, I'm thinking, guy, I need rent, I need deposit, I need money to move these things. Yani, I don't even know where to start. And then I'm like, why the sudden decision? She didn't give me any explanation. She just told me she thinks it's time for everybody to go their separate ways. I was hurt, but then I was like, it's okay, because there was some altercation, and I felt like this is how I felt. I felt like there was some sort of you're growing more than me, or I'm growing more than you. As in, it's almost as if I like you better when you don't have your life together. That's how it seemed to me. I don't want to go into details, because I don't know if she can ever watch this, but if she ever does watch, I really don't care. Anyway, it was time for me to move out. I called my mom and told her. I was so devastated. I called my mom and told her. I was feeling pretty bad. I was feeling really bad, because even as I was talking to my mom, I was wondering, now, where am I going to get the money to move out? It's too soon. I just got the job. I don't even know how to start looking for a house. Kwanza kuitisha ruhusa kwa boss yako. You just got employed. Anyway, my mom told me, you have to soldier on. You have to grow up immaculate. As in, you're not a child anymore. Anyway, that is what I did. Every time when I leave work, that is what I'd do. I'd go house hunting. For the next almost 3-4 days. That is what I was doing. And I thank God I had a friend at the time. We were not close friends, but she was and still is a good friend. We are not in touch, but she really helped me so much at that time. Anyway, I got a house. She helped me house hunt alongside a guy I used to see back in the day, like a high school sweetheart. They helped me look for a house until I got one. And when I got one, let me tell you, that house was literally my apricity. Like, have you ever gone somewhere and felt like so much at peace, felt like this is the warm hug I needed? Like, you get into a house, and when you know, like, you can go into a house when you're house hunting, and then maybe it has everything you need, but there's a spark inside of your heart that is not being lit. When I got in that house, I felt like I'm home. That's how I felt. Anyway, the thing about this house, I guarded it with everything in me. I felt like this was my peace. I didn't want anybody coming into that house. I felt like the only people that I need coming into my house are people that actually matter to me. Yani, anyway, the stories of that house, I think I'm going to do a whole YouTube series called Tales of My House. Who the hell did I bring to my house in regards to that TikTok nini? In regards to those TikTok 50-part videos that I have just been watching. Anyway, I moved out, and now this chick, even as she was telling me, she thinks it's time for everybody to live by herself. Remember, the cooker is mine. The mattress is mine. We were sleeping on the floor. We didn't have a bed, so the mattress is mine. The plates, most of them, I contributed the hugest amount of money on the, utensils. So all those are mine. So even when I was packing the things, I was feeling a bit bad because where is she going to sleep? But I had to take my mattress because where am I going to sleep? And then I thank God. Let me tell you, God works in miraculous ways because there was a guy I was talking to at the time, and I remember telling this guy, I don't even know what to do. And he's my friend. He was my friend. He is my friend up to now. And I was telling him, like, at the time we were just getting to know each other, and I was telling him, I don't even know what to do. There's this chick that I was living with, and she's telling me to move out. I don't have enough money, blah, blah, blah. I don't even have a name. Like, I don't know where to start because if I pay rent and deposit, my whole salary is gone. And I remember, we were just walking around with this guy. I was coming from work, and then I was looking at some beds online, and then I said, this bed looks good. It doesn't even matter. And it was just a simple bed. But then I said, this bed looks good. It doesn't even matter if I get a bed like this one. At least I'll have a bed to start with. And he goes like, how much is the bed? I told him. And then this guy said, man, okay, I was so happy. As it was just the small things. Guy, I was so happy. So even on the day when I was moving out, I went and got the bed first, then came for my mattress. And I remember this chick, I'm sure she was surprised. So you had money to buy a bed, but you didn't buy a bed. Sasa hivi ukihamia kwako ndo unajua kununua kitanda. I don't know, I just think so. Anyway, I moved to my new place, and when I moved, I don't know what it is that I called her. I don't know. Ama she flashed me. I don't know which is which. Ama nikitoka, she told me. I don't know what she wanted me to. I don't know. I can't remember, but there was a conversation about airtime. And then she told me, mi sina nini, sina credit. And I told her, don't worry, nitakutumia. So when I got into my pickup, yenye sasa inanipeleka where I was moving to, I sent her airtime and called her and asked her kama amepata airtime. She told me amepata. And ever since, we never spoke. I never told her where nilifika. I never told her where I lived. Nothing. Like, communication was cut off immediately. I don't know what happened. Honestly, if you ask me up to date, mi sijui ni nini nilikosea. Huyo msichana ndo akaamua siku moja amke aniambie hataki tuishi pamoja. And I know we were not going to live together for the rest of our lives. I know we were only going to live together for some time, but I feel like she should have had the courtesy of just giving me a month's notice ya kuniambia, hey, I feel like this should be the last month we live together. Next month, kila mtu ajipange, ndio mi nataka kuishi peke yangu. Not just, hey, by the next month, kila mtu move out. And it's only 1 week. Like, next week is next month. Like, I just feel like she should have been more courteous than that. But anyway, I feel like we both had our own fair share of being mean to each other. Anyway, I moved out, and at the time, I felt like I'm in my own house. Well, I used to live alone before, but then being the attached, the problematic, what's the word? Attachment issue person I was at the time, I felt like it was going to be such a big deal moving on by myself and, living by myself, even though I used to live by myself, kitambo. So, moving on to this house and being by myself, I continued working in the job that I was at and moved to a new job and got used to being by myself and living by myself. And I was okay. For the better part of it, I was okay. I was at peace, and we never talked to this chick again until I got this new job. And these two scenarios are what I was thinking about as I was beginning to, do my makeup and think about what I was going to shoot in this vlog. I met this chick. Oh, may God bless her. I met this girl at the job, now at the new job that I had got. And I'm the type of person that I don't like being stressed. It doesn't matter if I'm being stressed by work, by life. I don't like it. Like, if I feel like something is too much for me, then I just quit. I let it go. Work-wise, people wise, it doesn't matter. I like an easy life. I know life is not always easy, but I prefer to just not stress myself about anything. This chick, I remember we used to have to be at work by 7:45, and I'm not a morning person, so sometimes I'd end up getting to work so late. And this chick used to, not even before we became like really tight friends, she'd sign in for me at work so that, you know, it's not noticeable that I actually came to work late. She was such a sweetheart. She was so nice to me. And you know, sometimes when I don't hit my target and she hits her target before me, she'd sit down with, like, you know, she'd before logging off and going home, she'd help me finish hit my target. Sometimes when she doesn't hit her target, I'd help her hit her target. Like, you know, our friendship started to become, you know, all nice, all rosy. We used to respect each other's boundaries and all that type of stuff. But there's a but. It continued that way until she started to invite me over for, you know, she'd invite me to her place. No, she used to live with her parents, so she'd try to invite me to go home, like to her where she lives, and she'd ask for me to invite her to my place. And then you remember when I moved into my place, I felt like I don't want to be bringing just anybody. And then after I was done with Ruth, now after we stopped talking, I feel like I carried that with so much weight, and I was so heartbroken, and I didn't want to let anybody in. And honestly, if there's a friendship that I long for that I shouldn't have let go, is friendship with that chick, because she was so nice. She respected boundaries. She understood me. We understood each other. You know, we had respect for each other. We were not like, hakukuwa na ile mazoeano ya ujinga fulani, like unapata ni kama you're too entitled to a person. Like our friendship was mature, if I can say that. So I remember one time I wasn't feeling well, and it was really bad because I hadn't even gone to work. So she called me, you know, to find out where I am, why I haven't gone to work. And I explained to her that I wasn't feeling well. And she told me she was going to try and see if she could come and see me after work. But again, being the way I was, you know, the way I had started behaving and not wanting people around me, I had become such a loner. I always wanted to be in the house by myself. So I told her, no, you know, there's no need for you to come. I'm okay. Don't bother yourself. And, you know, things of that sort. So anyway, she got home. She called me when she got home, you know, just to find out how I was doing and things of that sort. We talked for a bit on the phone, and she was asking if I had had anything to eat throughout the day. I told her that I hadn't had anything to eat because I wasn't feeling well. It was pretty bad. Y'all, this guy. If there's a friend that I long for, yani I don't even know why I ruined that friendship. It has to be that one, because she's the golden friend. She's the type of friend and the type of friendship when you're in it with her, you even admire your friendship. But at the time, I was healing. I was dealing with so much. I was dealing with heartbreak from people, heartbreak from friends. I was losing so many friends at the time. I was trying to get to know myself. I was hurting people. People were hurting me. Yani, it's almost as if I was two people. One time you're going to experience my sweet side. The next time you're experiencing a very rough side from me. Yani, I don't know. Anyway, to put it in simple terms, I was hurting people so much, and I was getting the same heartbreaks from people. So I was being a victim and a villain. Opposite a victim and a villain. Yes. So I remember this chick told me, she told me, if it's okay with you, I can bring you food. At this time, it was at around 9 p.m. Around 9 p.m. So she told me, if it's okay with you, I don't mind bringing you food. And I'm like, no, it's actually pretty late. And by bringing me food, I thought she meant ordering food for me initially. And then she told me, no, actually bringing you homemade food. And I was like, no, it's actually very late. It doesn't matter if you're going to take a cab here. I mean, no, it's actually very late. And she was like, no, I'm bringing you food. She knew my house, but she had never set foot inside my house. Like the farthest she had gone, ni kunifikisha kwa gate, not actually entering my house. So She told me, no, you don't worry. And I told her, no, don't bring me food. Because at the back of my mind, if she comes, she'll want to sleep over at my house. And I don't want her sleeping in my house. I want my own time. And let me tell you something about me. When I want to be in my house by myself, there's nothing that is changing that. I want to be by myself. It doesn't matter who you are. Like, just leave me alone. I just want to be by myself. It doesn't matter what time it is. Like, just get a cup and leave me alone. So yeah, I know that can be very inconsiderate, but at the same time, I feel like it got to a point in my life and I felt like I am no longer making myself uncomfortable to make anybody comfortable. No, like, just be uncomfortable because I already told you, don't come to my house. Anyway, she was so sweet. I remember she brought me food and she got to my house at around 10:30 because she used public means. And yes, I know this was very wrong of me. And later on, I felt bad about it. But even put in the same circumstance right now, I still will do the same thing. Because like I say, it's something about me. If I want to be alone, I really just want to be alone. Anyway, she came and, I took the food and she understood that. She understood that when I want to be alone, I want to be by myself. Because I remember I offered her. Did I offer her? I think I did. I asked her, see, uingie tu basi ulale since you're here. And she was like, no, I just brought you food. Mi narudi home. Hata sijui nimeacha sijui nini. There's something that she said, I don't know. But she didn't like, I could take your advantage. Yeah, sawa basi twende nilale kwako. No. She had never been in my house, like I said before. Anyway, nikachukua food and that was that. The following day nikaenda job. I was so grateful sababu hiyo food ilikuwa mob to a point nilibeba lunch the following day kwa office. And she was such a good friend. But then I kept telling myself and feeling like this is not going to last for long. Something is going to happen. I don't know. Like, nilikuwa na feel kitu fulani itaingilia ubese yetu na haita last for long. And so when she comes closer, like when the friendship takes a step forward, then I pull it back because I want to ease the heartbreak of actually parting ways with her. Does that make sense? Like, na feel if we are to break up, if we are to call off our friendship, haitani hurt sana. And I was trying to heal and move on from all of those friendships that I had hurt or I had been heartbroken. So I didn't want closeness na with them. Alafu, she was such a sweetheart. I didn't want to get so heartbroken from her. I didn't want to get a heartbreak from her because she was so nice to me. And I didn't want to hurt her because she was also really nice. I don't know if she'd say the same thing about me. So anyway, fast forward to when things started to become a little bit weird because you can only push someone away for so long. At this time, she had already come to my house, but just once, and she hadn't spent the night. I don't even know what happened. I think we were going out somewhere, and she came to get dressed up in my house because she wasn't living in her own house. She was living with her parents. Anyway, may God bless her. Yani, whoever is her friend right now, if she never changed, I am sure you two have like the best friendship. I wish I could mention her, but where? I can't mention her, but probably when she watches this, she'd know she's the one I'm talking about. We are cool. We talk every now and then, but like that closeness that was there is no longer there. It's not like I'd want it. I wish I never pushed her away like I did. Right now, I wouldn't want it to go back because then she'd maybe tread carefully with me because I pushed her away and I wouldn't want that. We are cool though. We talked about it and she understood where I was coming from and where I was behaving, where I was hot and cold all the time, which again, I was trying to heal. And I should have just told her that I wasn't interested in the friendship. But actually, I did tell her I wasn't interested in the friendship. Oh, this is really a TMI rant. Bear with me. I just told her that I wasn't ready to be in a seriously committed friendship. And then, friendship, Zabadem, is literally like a relationship. And I don't like a friendship that feels like work. Because the moment my relationship or friendship with you starts to feel like work, then I start to back off. But now, in this case, it was a very smooth friendship. But it felt like work to me because I had so much that I was working on myself. So that's why it felt like work. And that's why it felt like I had to update her every step of the way. Like, hey, honestly, I feel like this is too good to be true. I don't want like a lot of attachments with you. I don't want a lot of closeness with you. But she was so understanding and so patient with me. Well, until I blew things off. Anyway, fast forward to I left that job, but even when I left that job, we would still, hang out and still talk. And my new job and new office wasn't so far from the office where we used to work together. So I remember this one time I had an accident, a really bad accident. And God works in mysterious ways. She was there as the accident happened. We had not talked. It was not premeditated to meet where the accident happened. She tells me she just heard someone screaming and then came to look. Like when your two accident happen, a crowd will gather. So she just came to see nani anapiga nduru. And then when she gets closer to see, and she's like, "What the? See, this is immaculate." And then she drops everything she's doing. She stops going to the office, comes to my rescue because she knows me. And then accidents, what atakudia and things of that sort. She takes my handbag, gets me into a car. She took me to the hospital with the driver. Story for another day. Anyway, I remember when I left, she called my mom. She updated everybody about the accident, everything that had happened. And I remember we went to my house. When we went to my house, she told me that she didn't go to work that day. I think she called in sick. And I remember she told me, since she can't take care of me from my house, she thinks it's best for us to go to her house. My mom had come, but she couldn't stay long because she had to go back to work. And the sort of injury I had is one that I can be by myself. It helps to be with help, with someone taking care of me, but I can be by myself. That's why my mom didn't stay. So this golden girl, her name is Golden Girl. So this golden girl tells me, let's go to my house. At least I can take care of you from there, because in the morning before I go to work, I'll take care of you. In the evening when I come back. But again, because I don't want too many attachments with her, I'm like, no, I'm okay. As a matter of fact, just leave my house. I want to be by myself. God. But anyway, I hope she has a friend who treats her vizuri. I sound like a heartbroken girlfriend. Anyway, I believe I'm healed right now, and the friends, the few friends that are in my life, not even few, they're only two, the two friends in my life right now, I believe I give the best side of friendship that I can, even though I still like to be by myself, but I hope they understand. I think they understand. Anyway, she left and she started to back down bit by bit. And at the time, it took me so long to notice. I think it was almost 3-4 months later that I realized she hasn't been talking to me when I tried to reach out. And when I did, she was hot and cold. I think she had also gotten to a point where she was tired. And, we had a few misunderstandings here and there. We had dated friends. Like that's how tight we were. We had dated friends. And I think they had broken up. As I was still dating the other friend. Or they had a misunderstanding. I don't know how that went. And this particular person was relocating, and they were, story for another day. Anyway, in short, the friends that we were dating at the time, they had called off. I don't know if they had called off or they had a misunderstanding, because again, like I said, we were not in any active communication at the time. Anyway, by the time I realized that, hey, this person has not talked to me in such a long time, like now Golden Girl has not talked to me in such a long time, let me hit her up and know what's up. Oh, it was already water under the bridge. Like, she was hot and cold. There wasn't really anything much to talk about. I tried, to initiate, like, hey, can you come over to my house, so that we can talk. And at the time, now I was realizing this is actually a really good friend. Like, again, they say, you never know what you've got until it's gone. So at the time, I'm trying to make amends, and I'm inviting her over to my house, to just come, talk, see if we can pick up from where I blew things up. But then at the time, I think alikuwa shachoka pia yeye, because at the time she was like, no, I'm busy, but when I get time, I'm going to come. I knew she could come if she wanted to come. But then again, I didn't want to rush into, making her feel like lazima come, ama kwanza kumwambia mbona ukuji na naona I wanted to give her time and space too, because she gave me that when I needed it. Even though I pushed her way to a point, aliamua to give up na ku move on. So I tried to ask her to come to my house to ongea. That did not work. I asked her to go for lunch, if we could meet somewhere to just sit and talk and, try to rekindle our relationship. But again, she always kept telling me that she was busy. The same things I used to keep telling her, like, oh, I'm busy, oh, I want to be alone, oh, CJ have a lot of work, oh, a lot of stories. And, at the end of it, I just sent her a message and told her that when we were friends, it was really good times. And I was so sorry because I wasn't healed. I wasn't healed and ready to nurture a friendship with her by the time I met her. And it's not like I'm blaming it on Kina Ruth or Kina Miriam or every other Ruth and Miriam that has been in my life. It's all on me. I just felt like I wanted to have a friend, but I wasn't ready to keep a friend at the time. Anyway, we stayed in touch for some time, and then we weren't in touch so much anymore. We do say hi to each other every now and then, but not as much as we used to. Then I changed my number, and I don't know if she changed hers. So even when we say hi to each other, it's just on socials. And, once in a while, or most of the times when Google Photos and Snapchat brings you memories, and I see the photos and I'm like, wow, good old times. So yeah, those are some of the TMI rants I wanted to go on friendship. I don't know. I feel like a big part of me has a lot of anxiety when it comes to new friendships. I am always so closed up and not ready to build any new relationships with anybody or any new friendships with anybody. I always feel like, why are you trying to get to know me? What do you want to know about me? Why are you trying to get close to me? Like, I'm so guarded. My guard is so high. My spirit is so closed. I'm not willing to get to know anybody. I don't want anybody to get to know me. But then at the same time, I'd love to have, like, a girls group and friendships that are healthy and somebody that, we can girl group. I only have two friends, or is it one friend? I'm not even sure about the other one. Hey, or three. I'm sure about two, maybe about three. I'm not sure. But I'd love to have, like, a good group of friends where we support each other, where, we can be vulnerable with each other, where we can build each other. It doesn't have to be about talking about successes and failures. We can actually build each other, advise each other, invest with each other, invest in each other, give each other ideas. Like, I'd love that. But then I will think about it. When it's time to execute it, then I become scared to death. And all these thoughts are running through my mind, and I'm like, what do they want to know about me? Why do they want to know me? Why can't they try to know somebody else? What's special about? No. And then I just go back to my cocoon, and I don't want to get out of there, and I don't want to get to know anybody, and I don't want anybody trying to get to know me. And then I end up ruining every friendship that I get or anybody that tries to get to me. But man, shout out to all my close friends right now, because man, dealing with myself is also a headache sometimes, because at times I'm a very people's person. I'm naturally bubbly, but then I like to be bubbly by myself. If you find me by myself, dancing to music I like, singing to songs I like, just being in my own bubble, I'm very okay doing that. I am also very okay hanging out with friends I'm comfortable with, especially those two that I'm talking about. Very comfortable with them, very okay talking to them about my issues, which I even barely do. I am a person who likes to keep things to myself. But then when it comes to a third party, or even them sometimes, then I feel like I'm getting anxiety, like, guy, oh my God. Pray for me. But I'm glad where I'm at right now. I am healing. I am learning. I am in a better place right now than where I was. I feel like I treat friendships, or I approach friendships better than I used to. I feel like it has gotten better over the years. I feel like I have grown quite a bit. The way I used to face my fears with friendships, kitambo, is not the same way that I do right now. Right now I'm a bit open to hanging out with new people. The only thing is, I'm going to hang out with new people, and then if I feel like it's not working for me, then that's it. I won't just be closed minded and not even want to give, like the hanging out a try. No, I'll give it a try. And then when I feel like this is not working for me, or is actually too much pressure for me, then I'll just leave. I will just leave. I won't lead on anyone. Or any friend, knowing very well that I won't be able to give the type of friendship they deserve or the type of attention they deserve. This TMI rant has been a bit too long than I expected for it to be. I hope the ranting makes sense and the little bit of stories from here, from there, from there. I just wanted to give this girl, let's call her Golden Girl, her flowers, and to just put it out there why I am the way I am when it comes to friendships. I don't know if anybody else is like me. Like, you want like a bigger group of friends, not like a big circle of friends, like at 20 girls. No, like 5-6 girls. But then when it comes to actualizing and trying to get those friends, anxiety and panic attacks, and you just can't fathom the thought of having to be with 6 people in your life. I can barely check on 2 friends that I have right now. How am I going to deal with 6 of those? Oh my goodness. So let me know if it's just me that deals with this, or there's anybody of you out there who deals with this too. I don't know. It's something that I struggle with, but I'm working on it. I think I have gotten so much better than I used to be. Anyway, it's been so much fun shooting this. Has it been fun? It's always nice talking to you guys and catching up with you guys. So until next time, I am going to see you all very, very soon. Bye.